Influence. Thank you so much for joining me on this call today. I want to greet you. I wanted to let you know that I am so excited that you made the step to join me on this call, because this is the first day of the best days of the rest of your life. I am grateful for you to believe in me enough to allow me to speak into your life on today, but I know that you're making a step into your future. You decided to click on the link because you wanted to invest in yourself. I am here to give you the tools, but it will be your responsibility to take the tools to move forward. I want to just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, but I am excited about your life and where you're going. This morning, we will take this time to go over some steps. We have an outline that I will share with you in a few minutes, and we will take each piece and go through line by line so that you will create your roadmap so that you can use it in the days to come, so that you can identify the parts of your life that you can elevate to the next level. I just wanted to say thank you for joining in as we go on this path together. And I can't wait. I'm so excited about the rest of your life, because the nuggets that you will receive today is just going to propel you to your next level. And I am so excited about it. So as we move forward and you kick back, relax, get you some water, get you a little snack, and let's dive into this work as we begin to go forward in this webinar. There will be a time for some Q&A, and you can submit some questions later if you would like, and we can set up some one-on-one time after this call. But for right now, let's get ready to dive in. I am so excited. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. As you can see, I have two different looks going on. The previous video was previously recorded, and I had some technical difficulties going on. Some of you already received that email. But hey, when you have issues that pop up, distractions that come, different roadblocks that may even try to distract you from what you're supposed to do, sometimes we fold and we stop and we don't want to continue. But no, I said I'm going to press on. So I had to start over and even do this video. It is actually 12:44 a.m. I had a whole computer issue, and it took all day to even get going again. But all is well. I said I'm going to get this video out for you guys, and whatever it takes to make that sacrifice. So I am going to keep moving forward, and this is a pre-recorded video. Okay, just so you know, this is a pre-recorded video. No one is on with me. I don't have a live audience with this video, but it's okay. So we're gonna keep going, and I just hope that it blesses your heart and you receive the same information. It impacts you, and you will have the desire to keep moving forward as you get this information in this video. So the agenda is as follows. I will go through just as if you was on this call with me. We will introduce a Lady of Influence and who we are and what we do. You will also know the why behind what we do, and then the clear definition of influence, not what the dictionary say what influence is, but how we have identified what influence is. Then your activation. What does that mean to activate your influence? Then understanding your assignment, why you were born, why you're destined to do great things, and how you will use your influence through your assignment. And then we will have some information that I will share as we conclude. So watch all the way through, because it's something special that I'm going to share at the end of this recording, this webinar. All right. So we are ladies who overcome our challenges and lead others to victory. A Lady of Influence actually started in 2014 when I wrote my first book called Are You a Lady of Influence? We then began to have small groups, masterclasses, and meetings at different events and things like that. But there is more of a calling, more of a desire to do great things globally. So the assignment began to get greater once the demand was put on the organization to spread. And through social media, A Lady of Influence has a global reach. We have connections in Panama, we have connections in Africa, we have connections in Puerto Rico, and throughout the states. So then we realized that not only are we reaching people through social media and different speaking engagements, especially across the state, we realized that we wanted to become more organized. And how did we want to structure this empowerment or event type of setting? So in 2019, we officially became a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Very proud of that, because that nonprofit status has allowed us to serve the community, being more intentional. So we use our influence and impact to make a difference in this world. We're very proud of the accomplishments that we have already done thus far. We have annual events, we have different online courses, and most recently, within the last couple of years, we have established the June Ava Jackson Scholarship Fundraiser, where we have sent 5 different individuals to college, with offering them financial assistance and helping them throughout the year to support their college stay, whether that is offering gift cards, offering different stipends to help out with books, and as simple as helping with groceries on this scholarship. So we're very proud of that endeavor, but of course, we're amping up to do more things with that scholarship. But within 2025, we're trying to make sure that our impact is becoming more sustainable, and we see the growth in the woman in her personal and professional development. So that's the reason why the purpose is on this webinar is to make sure that we know how to activate our influence. Everyone is born with influence, but how do you use your influence as a lady in your careers, in your lifestyle, in your assignment that God has given you? So we are being more intentional on making sure that the lady knows how to activate the influence that God has given her. So that is the purpose on why you're on this call, because that is one of the initiatives that we're going to hone in on 2025. So we're going to move forward in making sure that we connect with women who have a desire. If you've never been to an A Lady of Influence event, or you've never joined one of our webinars or masterclasses, I am the founder of A Lady of Influence, Eddrina Clark. I am a life coach. I am an encourager. I am a minister of the gospel. I am one who loves to empower women, especially to make sure that you're walking in your calling and you know who you are, and you are understanding the purpose that God has given you to do what you have been called to do. You are uniquely designed to do the assignment that God has given you. So as you can read here, I am an author, I am a life coach, and I am a transformational speaker, the CEO and executive director of A Lady of Influence. And I also have a profitable business, Eddrina Clark Enterprises, where I coach and certify coaches as well. I am passionate about empowering and encouraging women to be a lady of influence using godly principles, influencing ladies to use their testimonies to help someone else come out of their challenging situations. I am also committed to empowering women to think better, do better, and live better. Your life is a testimony to others. And that is what my purpose is. I feel like I am activated and will continue to be activated to use my influence. And so that's what I like to make sure that I'm using my purpose, my assignment, to help others do the same thing. Now that we have the preliminaries out of the way, let's get into the meat and the potatoes, okay? So this is where I love to share what and how and why A Lady of Influence is even in existence, right? So the why. Why do we do what we do? How did it even start or begin? I told you how we were founded in 2014, started doing master classes and having small groups, and was invited to speak at, a lot of different places. One of the most memorable places that I was asked to speak was in New Mexico with over 500 teenage girls for the state of New Mexico at their YMCA African American uh, event. It was phenomenal. I would never forget it because even though I came to speak to those young ladies, the impact that was made in my life, because these young ladies, they came with so much energy, they came with so much passion, and I learned that even as a young girl, they were excited about what I was sharing with them, but they had no idea that I was getting so much stronger at a time that I was most broken. They had no idea. But I was getting the strength from them. And at this time, I had experienced a I had experienced a very challenging, humiliating, embarrassing, uh, broken engagement. I had received an email from my former fiance telling me that he changed his mind and he no longer wanted to be married. This happened 2 months before my wedding day, and I already had my wedding dress. My bridesmaids had already purchased their dresses, and my invitations were already out. So I had to go through this process of the rebuilding of who will I become now, because I had already started to become or identify myself as now I'm walking into becoming a wife, and my lifestyle would change and things like that. And a lot of things had changed into the direction that I really wanted it to go. So now, how do I redirect? How do I define myself to that didn't happen? It because the shame and the betrayal, it actually warped my train of think my thought process. I didn't even know who I was. And it may seem simple to some, but I just could not comprehend for a minute. I didn't know how to grasp thinking. I had a friend to move in with me at the right time because her presence actually gave me some companionship and gave me the strength every day, because with her being there, I was able to, gain my momentum every day by just having conversations with her, because I was living alone before she moved in. So I was actually serving my former first lady at the time in the capacity of an armor bearer. And at my church at the time, I had sacrificed a lot of my, um, I would say, younger years to help her in her household, as well as at church on Sunday mornings. So I was in her household throughout the week, helping her with her two young boys and doing some things around the house, supporting her as a married woman, and I was unmarried. And so during this time, as I was serving in that capacity, God was actually allowing um, me to see the pattern of a wife that I admired, because there was the display of a wife um, that I've seen in my growing up, that I could take bits and pieces there, and also some relationships that I saw, in college, and some friends who had gotten married early. I can get bits and pieces from many relationships, but this relationship between me and my former first lady, it was in the house, hands on, and it was such a ministry with this relationship, that God was allowing my heart to be transformed, my mind to be transformed on what a godly wife looked like, and how she managed her home well, and how she was a great mother to her young boys. I will never forget that time and that pouring into me, and I appreciate the transparency that I was able to see. And I became a wife at that time during that season over a 10-year period. So now with these tools, I knew that I was ready to now to implement that in my marriage. And so when I felt like I was ready and I met this gentleman, I just knew that this was about to happen. So going through that devastation of that being broken off, or now that the plan won't go as I thought, it just caused a ripple, a ripple effect of many, many different emotions that I had to go through and I had to overcome. So as I began to get stronger day by day, not knowing until now, when I look back over, it was over a 2-year span that I went from the day that it happened to when I was able to stand up on my own 2 feet and and become stronger now that I'm not weeping and crying and things like that. So as I got the strength to now I can talk about it and I can now share my testimony with another woman. And I thought it was so funny that God would put people in my path that now I had to share my testimony. And so now I can see how this thing is being birthed out. I can see how now I wrote this book, Are You a Lady of Influence? But God had me walk out and become the lady of influence that I said I was writing about. Are you a lady of influence? God wanted to see, are you a lady of influence? So you talked about this information in the book, but he turned around and asked me the question, are you a lady of influence? So as I had to walk out and then eventually answer the question, I had to answer, are you a lady of influence, with a yes. I am a lady of influence because now I have overcome my challenges. Now I'm ready to inspire someone else and I can lead in my given territory. So the overcome, inspire, and lead is the acronym for that is OIL, which is oil. In that pressing, God was creating oil in my life. And in that oil, the anointing came. The anointing was coming. So now that I can share, and I had been pressed down, I had to go through that process that I had to be purified. I had to go through that process that my anointing is now being tested, that I can now speak and I can now be the one to help someone else's life be transformed. So I am not talking about something that I heard or something that I read about. I'm talking about my life experience, my testimony now, because I've overcome by my testimony. Now I can share with someone else. I remember that when I started, before I wrote the book, actually, I was writing in the card, the birthday card of my former first lady. I'm a card person. I love cards. I don't, the gifts are wonderful and great if somebody get me a gift for my birthday, Christmas, or whatever, but I appreciate the card the most because it's something that I can keep. I can always read it. I can come across it on the day that I'm cleaning or going through my treasure box and I see the card from a person. It just brings back so much love and admiration when I hold this card and read someone else's thoughts. So I was writing in the card on my former first lady's birthday card when I realized that on her birthday card, I was writing out different reasons why she had influence in my life. It became bullet points. The card then turned into, on the next page on the back of the card. And I realized at that point, as I was making these bullet points on this birthday card, Holy Spirit dropped in my spirit, these are the chapters of your book. And so I wrote the bullet points down on another sheet of paper. I gave her the birthday card, days later, but I still had the notes from what Holy Spirit said. These are the chapters of the book. Never had a desire to write a book. Never. To be honest and transparent with you, I was not even a reader like that. I read when I had to. I read when I was in college. I read when I saw something short, or one of those things, I hate to say it, embarrassed to say it, but a picture person. So when God told me that I was going to write a book, how? Why? What's the point of that? Didn't know that there is a story later on down the line that now this is not only going to be the book that you write, but this is going to be the ministry that you share. So the book, I published a book The book became a bestseller 3 times on Amazon. Little pop my collar a little bit. But as I wrote the book, I had no idea that the organization would be birthed out of it. So even in that, sometimes just do what God say. He has a purpose in it. He has a plan in it. He knows what's going down the line. So I wrote the book years later, or the small groups came out of the book, or the events came out of the book, but years later we became a nonprofit organization. So that is a testament and an encouragement to you. Do what God tell you. He's going to lead you the way and tell you why he told you to write the book. So with that being said, A Lady of Influence was birthed out of my pain. It was birthed out of the situation I had to go through, that I had to overcome. I had to inspire others, and now I continue to lead. Now, will that be a continual thing in your life, that you'll always overcome, inspire, and lead? Yes. But your defining moment that you realize that's the reason why you went through it is now it's going to identify you as a lady of influence when you share your testimony to help someone else. So the Naomi and Ruth methodology is something that I have adopted for a lady of influence. That is the scripture basis for a lady of influence, because Naomi was a woman who lost her husband and she lost her 2 sons. See, we all go through a test. We all go through something that's going to define you at a moment that you have to make a decision. Am I going to live or am I going to die? Am I going to continue to go and do what God has told me to do, or am I going to sit on the back burner and say it's not for me anymore? Am I going to allow my testimony to propel me, and I triumph over it and I overcome? Or am I going to allow this situation to just shut me up and close my mouth? What am I going to do when I hit that storm, that God wants to use this storm as your defining moment? So Naomi, when she lost her husband, she had 2 sons, and each son had a wife. But then her 2 sons died. So now she's she's not only a widower, she's also motherless. Now, there are some women who their defining moment is an illness. It can be a inoperable illness, or an illness that could be terminal. Some women, you may have your defining moment could be a loss of a job that you held high, that gave you the status, that gave you that title, that you knew that you were walking around like, you are the bomb. That is so old and corny, but you are the one at the at the company that's making the decision. And so now you no longer have that title, and so your life is shaken. Your defining moment could be a divorce. Your defining moment could be a loss of a child. My defining moment happened to be the broken engagement. Naomi experienced the death of her husband and the death of her 2 sons. Naomi was at the point that she said that she had nothing else to give. Naomi felt like that she wanted to walk away and die. She told her 2 daughters-in-law that she had nothing else. She couldn't bear another son. She had nothing else to give them, that they need to go on back. She tried to push people away, push people away so they won't be around you when you go through that hard time. You want to isolate yourself. So she told Opal and Ruth, go back to your kin people. Go back to your hometown. Be with your people. Opal said, I'm out. I'm gonna go on to be with my people. I don't really fool with you like that, so I'm gonna go on and be with my people. Ruth said, no, your God will be my God. That's covenant. That's assignment. That is something that God can work with, because he already ordained it. He already knew Ruth's heart, and he knew that what Ruth was going to say. By Ruth being obedient, God already knew that the relationship that between Ruth and Naomi, if Ruth listened to Naomi, which she did, Naomi was going to give Ruth some instructions that was going to lead both of them to the promised land. With the instructions that Naomi gave Ruth, Ruth was able to go work in the field where she met her husband Boaz, who was the king and the ruler at the time, very wealthy man. So even through the season of darkness, or the season of you feel like you just don't want to live anymore, there is still an assignment that you pour into someone else. At the same time, God will find it a full circle moment that that person will, he will send another person to come and pour into you. So in that Naomi and Ruth methodology, there is an assignment that you still can do in your darkest and weakest time. It is never a season that you should step back and feel like that you're useless, that God can't use you, because he actually can. Always seek for opportunity to hear correctly, so that you can still be doing the work of whatever God is telling you to do, never to shut down. So what the world, or the definition, the dictionary definition of influence is almost like you have the you have the will to use influence, but that's not so. With the Lady of Influence, it's a mandate to use influence. True influence isn't just about, an inspiring action, or what you can do for someone else to see your good works. That's not the case. So, what is influence? In the context of a Lady of Influence, influence means using one's experiences, leadership, and voice to empower other women, creating a ripple effect of transformation and success. That is how we define a lady. That's how we define influence at a Lady of Influence. So, when we're talking about ladies using their influence, the dictionary may explain influence as persuasion, or trying to coerce someone into doing something. And although a Lady of Influence is using influence as we are coaching women, as we are empowering women and equipping women to use their skills to help another. So it could be considered persuasion, but we don't persuade, we coach, and we want to see ladies become powerful and overcome their challenges. So a Lady of Influence doesn't just seek success, she creates impact. She leads with authenticity. She lifts others. She rises and fosters a community where every woman is strong and becomes a source of strength. Through mentorship, advocacy, and action, she ensures her influence spark lasting change for generations to come. And so, even in the generational side, your influence will impact people outside of your home as well as people inside of your home. And when you become a Lady of Influence, you realize that that assignment is growing day by day. As you grow, as you're being poured into, it is a ripple effect where you want to help and be use your skills and your resources to help someone else. So it's a full circle moment. You're poured into, and then you give out. You're poured into, and then you give out. Now you become so much stronger and wiser and confident in your calling, that that woman that you're giving to, you're pouring into, now she's going to do the same thing. She's going to, as you pour into her, she's going to give out. As you pour into her, she's going to give out. So it's a full circle moment for ladies to empower one another, because as we are growing and moving this movement into a massive, empowering, strong tribe, the assignment is for each lady to get poured into, and then she gives out. She gets poured into, and then she gives out, because that is how we are creating this generational, I would say, like this force that women are now rising up in their callings. It's no longer a siloed thing of me, doing my thing over here, you doing your thing over there. No, every woman has an assignment to pour into another lady, and we're using our influence to do that. So that Lady of Influence that you're becoming, you're leading by example. You're turning obstacles into opportunities. You're building legacy of impact. And you will see how the women that you're around, they are getting more stronger and wiser, because as you speak, they're like, who is she? How do I become who she is? And that is where you will grow in purpose. Everybody's purpose is totally different. Whether your purpose is in the medical field and you are, you're helping someone in the most trying time of like, for example, a hospital stay, and you are, whether a nurse or administrator, and you have the educational background to help someone and give them the knowledge base, but your essence, your presence, who you are when you walk in the room, how you carry yourself, how you speak to people, how you present yourself, it is a glow that they would want to know, who is that person. You could be an administrator at a hospital, but you can also have influence as a custodian at a school. Your influence is who you are and how you share the 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 power that you carry. How do you share that with people around, and they see that it's something different about that person that I have to stand back and watch. And I'm some people will never give you or acknowledge that you're helping them, but they're looking at how you do things, and now their life has changed because now they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do it that way too." That's influence. Everyone has it. How you use it is where you will see the results and the impact that it's made. Make sure that you use your influence for impact, and that you see that you'll see the results of it in a way that will blow your mind. But you're confident because you're walking in that power, walking in that authority, not for your gain and not for your glory, but you see how the generations around you is changing. Now you have recognized what influence is. You can see yourself using your influence. You know that you can differentiate between influence, persuasion, and coaching. You can put yourself in the place of and identify your level of influence and take accountability and receive influence. You know now that this is a part of your DNA and your identity, that you have influence. Now it's time for your activation, the activation of putting it into action. You're walking in it every day. You're identifying the level or the woman that you want to become, who you're becoming every day, things that you have already worked out and overcome. Now you can start leading in that area that you have already um, you passed your test, I should say. You passed your test. Now you're using your story as your testimony, and you have the confidence and the strength to share your story from a place of helping the other lady. So now we identify the lady that who you are in this season. I believe that you continue to evolve and you continue to grow in who you are in different seasons, because there's sometimes that you will be in a place of strength, you a place of confidence, a place of boldness. And then there's a season that you may feel like that you need to just rest and get poured into. Those are things that you would have to understand where you are in that season. But right now, we're going to identify the lady that you are. I believe as a lady of influence, there are three types of ladies of influence. Like I said, the seasons will evolve, they will change. You will become a different lady depending on the circumstances that you are experiencing. But I'm going to break down the three ladies that I have identified as a lady of influence: either the overcomer, the hidden leader, or the trailblazer. This may take some time, and I want you to get your notebook and your pen out, because you might want to write and jot down some notes and ponder and, take some time to think about this thing. So, this is not a part that you want to rush through. So, I'm going to give you a moment to get a pen and paper. So, let's get started. We can, again, I have something special for you at the end of this webinar, but let's break it down for a second. The overcomer. The overcomer, she is one that has survived. And now she is one that she is ready to move forward, but she is uncertain on how to tell her story. So she survived the test. She knows that there is something greater. She understands that God wants to use her in that process. But how do I tell my story? She's the overcomer, and she's ready, but how do I tell the story? Then you have the hidden leader. She is the one that she has the skill, she has the background, she has the education, she's working in this thing, she can roll off information easily, but she's holding back. Whether that's fear, whether that is direction, whether that is loneliness, not connected to someone, whatever the distraction or the bondage or the weight that's holding her down, she's scared and she wants to hold back and wait. So that's the hidden leader. Then you have the trailblazer. The trailblazer is the lady that I identify is like the horse in the stable. She's ready, running, and just like if you open up the gate, she's going full speed ahead. She's ready to just take off. However, she doesn't have clear direction on if I take off, do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go straight? How do I get to where my end destination? I can see it, but how do I get there? So she doesn't have the clear direction. So within these three ladies, you can be one of them at any given time in whatever season that you're in. Not a bad lady, not a lady who is unclear, or a lady who's confused, or a lady that making bad decisions. Neither one of them at all. But it's just a breakdown of where you are, and you're being clear on you needing some type of assistance and support from the lady that will pour into you. Let's go back to the why. You'll always be in that cycle of someone pouring into you and you're pouring into another lady. So at any given time, doesn't matter the age, young, old, doesn't matter the job, successful or emerging, trying to become a change of careers. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be either one of these ladies at any given time. So let's go back up to the overcomer. Like I said, the overcomer, she has a story, but what do you do now? She has conquered so much in her life, major things, whether it was abuse, a loss, or a setback, whatever the case may be, she's conquered and overcome so much. She has a powerful testimony, but doesn't know how to use it or how to influence others. She desires to lead, but struggles with the confidence and clarity. Not bad. And she's not nothing. She's not nothing wrong with her. These are just some of the things that she has experienced. But what does she need to do? How does she? How would she activate to become this person that's going to share her story with clarity? Fear of sharing her story publicly is something that she has to overcome. The belief that her past disqualifies her from leadership is something that she has to overcome. The lack of strategy on how to use her experiences for impact. Remember the impact that she now can help get her to the next level. She has to overcome. But this is a strategy. If you feel like that you're an overcomer, if you're in that place that you're like, I have this story, now what? I'm going to break down the strategy for you, write it down for you. And I will send out some notes if you will like. Just email me and let me know. I'll follow up with the notes with you. But this is how I would share the strategy with the overcomer. If you're the overcomer, I'm talking to you. I would tell you to embrace the power of your testimony as a leadership tool. I would tell you to learn how to position yourself as a speaker, a coach, or an advocate. Now you are sharing your information as an expert. You're becoming that person that people will come to. And it's going to, as you start speaking, you'll get more confident that it's your story. You've already been through it. You're not sharing any lies, or you're not making anything up as you're going. You're sharing your story and you're sharing it with boldness and confidence. And now you're becoming that person that very confident, and it's going to, your momentum is going to continue to grow, and you're going to continue to speak. And the only thing you'll do is continue to get better. You're going to get better, and you're going to get better each time. And so now that's building up your influence. And now you have more opportunities to share, and now you find yourself moving into it, right? So develop a blueprint to transform your pain into the purpose driven influence. So your pain now is almost like the match that you need for the fire. The fire can only you can only see the fire unless you have the match. So you need the pain. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It doesn't feel good. It's not feeling good, or it almost broke you down, but you needed the pain for the influence. Okay? So let's go to the hidden leader. She's equipped, but she's holding back. So I'm gonna break down what does that look like. The characteristics of the hidden leader. Okay, she has the skills, she has the education, she has the experience, but she's playing small. I find myself or found myself as the hidden leader, and I once I overcame that, again, you're overcoming many, many different things in life, right? As long as you live, you're gonna be overcoming, you're gonna be in the overcomer place. I found myself as the person who dimmed my light around people that were inferior to leading ladies. And I felt like I had to make them feel comfortable when other ladies that they were uncomfortable around, until I had to check myself and say, that is not you. You are a leader. You need to come out and don't be scared to shine your light. Okay, let me get back to the point of the hidden leader, the characteristics of the hidden leader. She is one who hides behind the scenes to say, I work behind the scenes better instead of stepping up. She loves to support others, but it really is the fear of stepping out. She has the imposter syndrome and doubts whether she's truly a leader. Have you ever experienced that? If this is you, write it down. Write it down. We're getting ready to do some hard work. This is a coaching experience right now. So, what does the hidden leader need to do to overcome? The same thing, like I've said a few minutes ago. It's you will always be in a place of learning and getting better. So do not feel like you are not ready yet, because you are. But this is what you need to do if you're a hidden leader. If you have the fear of stepping into the spotlight, or you have the mindset that a leadership is reserved for others and not you, and you lack the trying to, or scared of having visibility, of sharing your personal brand of who you are, here are some strategies that I would recommend for you. Develop boldness and self-assurance in your leadership ability. It is a This is the work. You have to develop it. You have to learn how to market your expertise and build credibility by sharing your story, just like the overcomer. As you share your story, you become credible at that point. Create an action plan to step forward and claim your space in leadership. It is okay to walk in the room and go to the front. It is okay to make sure that you are not the one stepping behind waiting for others to go in front of you. As the one that you know that you struggle as a hidden leader, you're going to have to be intentional about going to the front. You're going to have to be intentional about raising your hand to volunteer for certain things. You're going to have to be intentional to let people know that you take up space right here. Why? Because you have to overcome and let go of the hidden leader, because your story is worth being shared. You went through it. The pain is not for no. The pain is going to, like I said, the pain had to happen so that you have a testimony. Your testimony has to be shared for you to use your influence. Okay? So let's go to the trailblazer. The trailblazer is, like I said, she's that emerging, the we're just ready. I mean, she stay on ready, like, I got this, I know this, but you don't have any direction. However, just like I just shared about the overcomer and the hidden leaders, I have some strategies for the trailblazers as well. So, if you are a trailblazer, if you identify as a trailblazing leader, the characteristics for you, is She has the passion and the vision, but lacks direction. She is stepping into a leadership role for the first time. She wants to build a brand, a movement, or a platform, but doesn't know where to start. If that's you, write it down. Write it down. Identify yourself as a trailblazer. You have it. You know there's something bubbling up in your spirit. You know that there's something greater. There's an assignment in your life, and you're like, how do I get it out? How do I get this done? I don't want to die full of this. I want to die empty, like Miles Monroe talked about. He talked about it, that you want to die empty. Whatever God has put in your spirit, it's time to get it out. No more delays. So, how do you do that without direction? You need direction. You can't do it. You need direction to make sure that you're operating in excellence. There is there is work in everything that you do, and you have to be so diligent in doing it. So, as a blazer, what do you need to overcome? You need to overcome being overwhelmed from trying to do everything at once. You need to overcome the lack of clear business or a leadership model. You have to have it. You cannot lack organization. You have to overcome the struggle of balancing purpose, influence, and sustainability. These are some business points. However, it's a part of your lifestyle. You have to have organization if you want to go to that next level to make sure that you can execute the vision that you have in your life. So you have to overcome the lack of preparation, or the lack of, you know organization, or the lack of confidence, the lack of not having some due diligence in your life. However, like I did before, I'm going to give you some strategies on how to get there. The strategies that I would share with the trailblazer is: clarify your mission, clarify your audience, clarify your impact goals. Let's have some clarity on these things. Write it out, and create some goals for your life. Develop a strategic plan to launch and sustain your influence. Learn leadership principles that will help you grow and scale your impact. Okay? This is a high level of some coaching principles that I would give you if it was on a we were on a one-on-one call. But if you write it down and you take one piece at a time, you can actually implement this yourself. But of course, if you need my help, I'm always here too, but I will share with that a little bit later. But this is a point to identify where you are and who you are in this season. So if you know exactly where you are now, you can have a jump start to let's get to the next level. So, are you an overcomer? Are you a hidden leader? Or are you a trailblazer? Let's identify that. I will leave you with 3 points for you to identify which lady you are in this season. Identifying whether you're an overcomer, hidden leader, or a trailblazer, I want you to reflect on your biggest challenges that you have to overcome with either lady that you are right now. I want you to write down 3 fears that are holding you back, and give yourself a strategy to overcome each one of them. Okay? I want you to define your 3 top leadership goals for the next 6 months. How will you implement these goals to make sure that you overcome them so that you can see the difference in your life so that you can become that lady of influence? Becoming a lady of influence is, like I said, a practice every single day, because once you can identify where you are, that's the easy part. Okay? Now that you have been activated, you must understand what your assignment is. Your assignment, again, is different in different seasons, but the foundation of your assignment will always remain the same. We will start with: you have to shift from qualification to your calling. Your influence is built through the authenticity and impact, not just degrees or titles. Identify past successes as proof of capability. Understand the power of your collaboration over competition. One thing that we as ladies have walked into this mindset, or we continue that mindset of working with other people, um, will be chaotic, or it's a negative thing, or you some people feel like when you share your ideas with other people, someone would get more recognition, or um, someone will feel jealous, or any all those different type of things that come when you fear working with other people. But I am a big believer of relationships are the currency of the world. I take a bite out of Clarence Avant's documentary on Netflix. Clarence Avant was a big record producer, and he and Quincy Jones were best friends. Both have powerful documentaries on Netflix. But Clarence Avant, he said something in his documentary that said that your relationships are more powerful than money. And I watched this documentary years ago, like maybe 2020. Um, that statement has stood still in my spirit. I have taken it as almost like a mantra, because relationship can get you indoors that money can't buy. Relationships can pay for things that money can't pay for. Relationships can take you places and open up opportunities for you that money can't. So people think that money rules the world. Money does not rule the world. Relationships rule the world. Who you know is a benefit to your success. I know that you can run across some people that may have triggered some past emotions, or people who have betrayed you in the past, people who have put a bad taste in your mouth, that some experiences that just didn't work out. And you may be fearful of working with people and collaborating with people in your life. But that is something, a mindset shift that you would have to consider changing, because it takes relationships to get to your next level. You have to identify your key allies, your mentors, and your sponsors. Because if you want to get into particular doors, whether that is in the community, whether that is in your careers and your companies and corporations that you work for, whether that is in just trying to network outside with building your platform, you need people to help you get there. You cannot be an island all to yourself, because we're going to forget that principle that we talked about a little while ago. You continue to pour, and someone is always pouring into you, right? So that is a full circle moment, a full circle principle that you would always walk in. You're pouring, you're pouring, you're pouring, and someone is pouring into you. So that is a constant relationship. So please, 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 please consider opening up your mind, opening up your heart to build relationships. This is something that you cannot live without. Great positive relationships. That is a part of your assignment. So I will say that in as you are starting to work in your assignment, and you're starting to get downloads of what it is that you're actually supposed to be doing, there are some key principles that you have to implement in your life, because you are designed as a lady of influence. This is just my personal belief. You are designed to empower, equip, and always encourage other ladies. That is the whole mission of a lady of influence. You're going to empower, you're going to equip, and you're going to encourage ladies to overcome their challenges, inspire others, and lead in their given territories. So you're helping them transform their You're helping ladies to transform their testimonies into have using their influence and making an impact, right? So the purpose of using your assignment or walking in your assignment is to make sure that you're encouraging people to be healed and restored from their past or whatever the challenge was that tried to take them out, that pain that they are carrying inside of their spirit, that pain that they just can't shake. Have you ever been in the company of a lady who you know that they're struggling with bitterness, and you know that had to come from something in the past, whether it was a divorce or something just caused so much trauma in her life, and she's holding on to that thing, she's holding on to that pain, and she just can't let it go. She actually is needing, she's crying out from the inside, I need another lady to help me walk through this. Now, will that person raise their hand and say I need them? Probably not. Probably not. But when we're walking intentionally and we are our eyes are open, our ears are open, and we're listening to the words that certain ladies are using, sometimes that's a key indicator. Get in there, start a conversation with that person, because you could be the one that can change the whole trajectory of their life. A lot of times when we experience ladies who lash out or they push people away from them or they are quick tempered, it is always going back to something where it has caused some trauma in that area. And sometimes we are walking around ladies who are 55 years old in age, but they're 5 years old in their traumatic situation. And sometimes if we're not conscious enough to be so concerned about that little girl inside that grown woman, we will watch another lady bleed out and die right in our presence. And that death is like a spiritual death. You'll watch her just shrivel up and become mean and nasty when all she needed was some encouragement. All she needed was some empowerment or equipping with some tools and some you using your testimony on how you overcame. And by you opening up your mouth and sharing your story, you never know, that could have been her healing right there. She probably went through the same thing, but nobody has opened up and talked to her about it. That's a part of your assignment. Every day you wake up in the morning, you're on assignment. I believe that I'm on assignment for the kingdom of God, that God use me wherever I'm supposed to go, whether it's in the grocery store and I bump into a lady that whether I haven't seen her in a long time or a complete stranger, and we just have something in common on which can of beans we're going to buy. And the conversation start, just being intentional on listening to those clues that another lady drops and that can open up that door of conversation. Or even at work and you see someone that maybe you've been walking so fast past people in the hallway in a and God puts it on your heart at a particular time. Stop, slow down in the break room. Let's have some time that you stand still and a lady will walk past you and a conversation can start. Then you can use your influence in a way that her life can be changed, that she didn't know that you had already experienced a job failure, or you experienced something traumatic on a at your job. You've experienced it at another organization, and you're here now, and she's looking at how wonderful and great you are at work, not knowing that you had to overcome a challenge at a previous job. Just being able to slow down and hear what then take time to hear that there is an opportunity for you to share your influence. That's your assignment. That is who you're becoming, and you're on assignment every single day. So I actually have an exercise for you with this as well. This is a working session, if I forgot to tell you that. This is a working session. So get another sheet of paper, and I hope you still have your pen close to you. And I want you to take some time and write this out as well. We won't it's not a long exercise, but it is something that I do want you to do tonight. Don't wait and do this later. Let's walk through this right now. So on this sheet of paper, I want you to write a line in the directly down the middle of the page to divide the page into two sides, a right side and a left side. Take your pen and write a line down the page. Okay. Then on the left side, I want you to write down at least 5 characteristics of a lady of influence to you. Okay. Remember, I talked about my former first lady, but since time has passed, there are many, many ladies I could write about now. But I'm going to let me think, because choose a woman that you may not even know, someone that you admire on TV or someone that you follow online or something. But if you do have um, someone that you can think of that you personally know, that's great too. I'm going to choose my mom. I'm going to choose my mom, okay? So on the left hand side, I'm going to write 5 characteristics of my mom, who is no longer here on earth with me, but since she has passed, I now have so much grace for her as a lady. Um, versus who I knew her as my mom. As my mom, I put her in that glass case. That's just who she was, my mom. And uh, good, bad, ugly, she was my mom. But now, since she's no longer here, I love her even more, and I recognize her and honor her so much as a lady, because I give her grace for having to manage the household, having to, go to work and take care of children and make sure that, everybody was taken care of and off to school, and just doing so much in ministry, as her and my dad led 2 churches, built churches from the ground up, and they were pastors and ripping and running the road to help other churches get established, and dealing with so much inside the church on people who were not compliant. I'm gonna use the word not compliant, but and then also having people that loved on us, and just made sure that we were taken care of. It's just so much that my mom had to deal with, even as a business owner. Had a home daycare as well as a Christian bookstore, and she was a nurse for over 36 years. She was managing so many different things, and all we could do was just, Mama, we need this, Mama, we need that, Mama, we need that. But as I'm older now and she's no longer here, I never got a chance to say, Mom, just rest. Mom, just let's just go shopping. Let's just go for a spa day. Or Mom, let's just let me treat you like a woman versus my mom. So I honor her now, even though she's not here, and all I can do is make sure that I only speak well of her name now, versus when she was here, we had many ups and downs. But anyway, I'm writing down the 5 characteristics of my mom. And so go ahead and write down 5 characteristics of the lady that you can think of that has influence in your life. I'm gonna give you a second to do that. So that lady of influence in your life that you can think of right quick, who do you see? Who do you see? What are her characteristics? You may can call out her name, but what is her characteristics that speak to you? What's her mindset? Does she have confidence? What's her habits? What's her lifestyle like? What's her behavior? What does she do that you just feel like she has discipline in that area, and you like, I want to do that. I need to practice that. Is she an early bird? Does she have discipline in her health and wellness? Does she take care of her body? Is she what does she drive? What how does she carry her house? Is she a wife? Does she honor her husband? Is she a mother? Does her children call her blessed? I'm just thinking about things, in the Bible, Proverbs 31 woman. But what is her characteristics? What are you writing down about her? How does she display influence in her life? Is she a mentor? Is she mentoring you? What are you saying about her? Okay, that's what you write down on the left hand side. On the right hand side, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go deep. I like to, just make sure that we are doing some work that's going to make you think. So this may be a little vulnerable time, but I do want you to be honest. Okay, so this is about you. What characteristics of that lady that you just described that you can describe that you have? So, what characteristics that you can mirror that you said about your lady of influence that you already do? Okay. So, if she's your lady of influence and you've been watching her for so many years and you've had time to study her and you admire the things that she do, what have you picked up from her? Take a minute to write that down. You might have to think for a second, so I'm gonna give you a second. Okay. So here's the question I'm going to ask you. Remember, no one is looking at your paper. Be honest. No need to be ashamed or anything like that. But here's the question: is there anything that you need to change or adopt in your life from her life? Remember, she's a lady of influence in your life. So there's something that you admire about her. But just, answer that question. Is there anything that you need to change or adopt in your life that she has in her life? Okay. This is how I create the blueprint of what I talked about earlier, the Naomi and Ruth methodology. This is the blueprint. These are the questions that I ask so that I align your assignment up to some type of image that you can see, like a visual image that's tangible, somebody that's real in your life, and you can see someone that you admire and some characteristics that you can use so that you can become that lady of influence. Not that we copycat, not that we try to act like we are the same mirrored person. No, it's just you looking at the characteristics that you admire of that lady of influence that you can become. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a moment to just reflect on that, reflect on her characteristics, reflect on your characteristics, and answer the question: is there anything that you can change? Okay. So I want you to take time to read over that, look over that, create some type of uh, visual for you to journal about the lady who you want to become. Okay. Journal some goals that you need to put in place that you can see yourself as a lady of influence, that a younger lady or another lady can see you and say, I want to become that. I want to use or have some of the same characteristics of her. Okay? That's your assignment, your homework assignment for you to do from days to come, actually for the rest of your life. Okay. All right. So, ladies, congratulations. You have successfully activated your influence. Thank you for completing this webinar and staying to the very end. Today was more than just a webinar, it was a divine call to action. You are not here by accident. You have a story, a purpose, and a leadership assignment that is waiting for you to step into it. Now is the time to activate your influence and lead boldly in your area of influence. I am so excited that you are here. You joined me on today. Don't click off yet. I have something else for you, but I just want to say congratulations. You completed the webinar. Now, as we conclude, your question may be, what's next? What's next is I am asking for you to join a Lady of Influence. It is a free version of our membership platform. If you click on this link, you have the option to scroll down and give your information, and you will then be emailed more and more details. I promise you, I will not overload you with so many emails, but I do want to make sure that you have the information that is necessary. As you become a part of this powerful movement, you will be a part of a sisterhood. You are stepping into your leadership, breaking barriers, and making an impact. As a member, you'll gain access to resources, networking opportunities, and a community that will support your growth. So click that link or copy, paste, or write it down so that you can put it in your web browser for later. Also, you also have an option to book a consultation with me. If you need personal coaching or you're ready to become a certified coach, if you're ready to take your leadership to the next level with the one-on-one coaching, or you want to become a certified life coach in just 6 weeks, I love to work with you. Click that link as well now to schedule a consultation and start your journey. Your influence is needed, your voice matters, and your leadership is necessary. Don't wait. Take action now. Ladies, thank you for showing up for yourselves today and being a part of this powerful experience. Your journey to influence and leadership starts with the steps you take right now. Remember, you are worthy, capable, and called to lead. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back any longer. Step forward with the confidence knowing that you are a lady of influence. You're equipped, you're empowered, and you're encouraged to overcome your challenges, inspire others, and lead in your given territory. Stay connected. Please follow us on social media and YouTube with the tag A Lady of Influence and take action. And I can't wait to see you thrive. See you next time. Bye for now.